Biingusu. Biingusu, a pixel art turn-based tactic-style deck builder MMORPG with working economy and auction house made using G-Develop. Here's a polished way to define Biingusu as a fictional Japanese-influenced term. Biingusu, meaning and vibe. Biingusu, a stylized, Japanese-flavored reinterpretation of the English word being. It suggests existence, presence, essence, a living entity or spirit. Because of the su ending, it also feels like a name, not just a concept, something that could belong to a character, a creature, or even a philosophical idea. Possible interpretations. You can take it in several directions. A mystical concept. Biingusu equals the pure state of existence, a kind of spiritual presence or aura. A guardian spirit. A wandering entity. A supernatural being with a soft, rounded personality. The seed crystal of Biingusu's mythos, the linguistic soul of the entire world. It's not just a name. It's a cosmic principle waiting to be unfolded. Biingusu, the core concept of the world. Mikeru's Book of Lore-ready version. Biingusu, a soft-spoken, Japanese-inflected reimagining of being, transformed into a mythic noun. Biingusu refers to the spark of existence, the essence that animates all living things, the presence that lingers even when form changes, a gentle, wandering spirit that can inhabit bodies, memories, or even ideas. Because of the su ending, it feels like a creature, a class, a metaphysical force, and a cultural concept all at once. 3 canonical interpretations for your game world. 1. The mystical, the pure state of existence. Biingusu is the raw, unfiltered essence that all beings are made of. It glows softly. It hums with potential. It can be shaped, strengthened, corrupted, or purified. This makes it perfect for leveling, deck building, class evolution, crafting, economy systems, because Biingusu is literally the currency of existence. 2. The creature, a guardian spirit. In this version, a Biingusu is a small, rounded, luminous entity that follows the player. Think, part familiar, part conscience, part tactical assistant. It will store your deck, whisper hints, evolve with you, be traded or bonded. Have variants, fire Biingusu, iron Biingusu, echo Biingusu. This ties beautifully into your auction house and economy. 3. The philosophical interpretation, essence made visible. In the lore, people might say, "Show me your Biingusu, and I will know who you truly are." It becomes a personality mirror, a soul signature, a metaphysical ID, a gameplay-defining trait. This gives you endless room for factions, classes, moral choices, story arcs, PvP identity. Why this is ingenious. A game title that sounds Japanese, feels spiritual, works as a creature, works as a resource, works as a metaphysical system, works as a brand, works as a game title, works as a lore cornerstone. It's rare to find a single invented word that can carry mechanics, story, economy, and vibe all at once. Biingusu does. The Biingusu taxonomy, types, elements, evolutions. The metaphysics, how Biingusu forms, grows, splits, merges. The economy, why Biingusu is tradable, how it's valued. The law, origin myths, factions, philosophies. The gameplay loop, how Biingusu ties into deck building and tactics. Biingusu taxonomy, types, elements, evolutions. Overview. Biingusu are categorized along three orthogonal axes so they compose cleanly: type, form, function, element, affinity, and tier, evolution, power and mechanics. Each Biingusu is a tuple, type, element, tier, which determines stats, deck synergies, and market value. Table, core taxonomy. Type, element, primary role, rarity, gameplay effect. Wisp, ethage support, buffs, heals, common, small passive regen, deck draw synergy. Puffed flame offense, burst damage, uncommon, high single target damage, burn over time. Golem, earth tank, disruption, uncommon, taunt, damage soak, terrain control. Echo spirit utility, manipulation, ray copy, steal cards, replay effect. Muse, light enhancement, tempo, rare, reduce cost, buff card efficiency. Shade, shadow control, debuff, epic, silence, drain, conditional removal. Forge, metal economy, production, epic, generates resources, crafts temporary card. Prism, void, wild card, fusion, legendary, merges Biingusu, creates hybrid effect. Elements, affinity system. Ether, flame, earth, spirit, light, shadow, metal, void. Elemental rules. Strengths, weaknesses are soft, percent modifiers, to avoid rock paper scissors lock-in. Instead they enable combo multipliers when decks lean into synergies. Cross-element combos. Pairing complementary elements grants utility bonuses, e.g., flame plus add overpressure, extra action, earth plus metal fortify, persistent armor. Evolutions and progression. Tier progression. Common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary. Evolution mechanics. Evolve by bonding, playtime XP, fusion, merge two Biingusu of same element, or ritual, spend currency plus items. Branching evolutions. At certain tiers, players choose specializations, e.g., Golem, Bastion, Defense, or Juggernaut, counterattack. Temporary evolutions. Consumable catalysts grant short-term evolved states for tactical variety, useful in PvP or raids. Implementation notes. Represent Biingusu as data objects with fields, ID, type, element, tier, base stats, abilities, bonksp, ownerid, tradable flag. Evolution rules are deterministic functions that consume resources and update fields. Metaphysics. How Biingusu forms, grows, splits, merges. Philosophy. Treat Biingusu as conserved essence. It can be redistributed, transformed, and recombined but not arbitrarily duplicated without cost. This creates scarcity, meaning, and economic value while enabling creative gameplay. Formation. Natural formation. Biingusu arise from Loki, special map nodes, events, or crafted items. Loki spawn low-tier Biingusu over time. Rare Loki spawn higher tier ones. Player creation. Players can synthesize Biingusu by combining resources, time, and catalysts, crafting recipes. Event creation. Seasonal or story events can birth unique Biingusu variants. Growth, bonding and XP. Bonding model. Biingusu gain bond XP when used in battles, deck construction, or when assigned to production tasks. Bond XP unlocks passive bonuses and evolution eligibility. Stat growth. Growth is utility focused. Instead of raw stat inflation, higher bond levels unlock new abilities, reduced cooldowns, or card synergies. Decay and maintenance. To prevent hoarding of inactive power, Biingusu have a gentle decay if unused. Maintenance items or small fees prevent decay. Splitting and merging. Splitting. A Biingusu can be split into essence shards, fractional resource, at a cost. Shards are fungible and used for crafting, temporary summons, or auctionable goods. Merging. Fusion combine two or more Biingusu to create a higher tier or hybrid Biingusu. Fusion consumes catalysts and has deterministic plus probabilistic outcomes, guaranteed base upgrade plus chance for special trade. Conservation rule. Total essence is conserved across split-merge operations minus a system fee, burned essence, to control inflation. Implementation notes. Model essence as a numeric resource essence value attached to each Biingusu. Splitting creates shard items with shard value. Merging consumes shards and Biingusu objects and returns a new Biingusu object. Economy. Why Biingusu is tradable, how it's valued. Design goal. Create an economy that rewards play, supports trading, and ties directly into gameplay utility without becoming pay-to-win. Value drivers. Intrinsic utility. A Biingusu's value is primarily its gameplay utility, abilities, synergies, rarity. Scarcity and provenance. Rarity, unique traits, and provenance. Who used it, event origin, at premium value. Crafting demand. Shards and catalysts are required for evolution and temporary boosts, creating steady demand. Aesthetic and social value. Skins, names, and lore attachments, e.g., first of the Eclipse event, increase market desirability. Market mechanics. Auction house. Player-driven auctions with buy now and bidding. Each listing shows type, element, tier, bond level, owner history, essence_value. Order book and instant trades. Support both long-term listings and instant swaps for liquidity. Transaction fees and sinks. A small percentage of sales is burned or routed to game-wide sinks, seasonal rewards, server events, to prevent inflation. Price discovery. Provide historical price charts and median values in UI to help players make informed trades. Anti-abuse and fairness. Trade cooldowns. Newly created Biingusu have a short non-tradable window to prevent instant flipping. Binding options. Players can bind Biingusu to accounts for cosmetic or sentimental reasons. Bound Biingusu are cheaper to evolve but non-tradable. Crafting caps. Limit daily synthesis to prevent mass production. Implementation notes. Represent marketplace as a service with ledger entries. Use essence value and bond level as primary pricing inputs. Compute suggested price via weighted formula. Suggested price equals base rarity value times 1 plus bond level times 0.05 times 1 plus trait multiplier market_fee. Lore, origin myths, factions, philosophies. Narrative goal: make Biingusu meaningful at player, faction, and world levels. Lore should justify mechanics and create hooks for events, quests, and social systems. Origin myths: 3 canonical myths. 1. The first hum, ancient tale that the world sang and the first Biingusu rose from the chorus. Biingusu are echoes of existence. 2. The Shardfall, a cataclysm scattered essence across the land. Loki formed where shards concentrated, explaining spawn points and rare Loki. 3. The Binding Oath, a cultural myth that those who bind Biingusu to themselves inherit a piece of the world's memory, explains bond mechanics and provenance. Factions and philosophies. The conservators, Order of Ether, believe Biingusu are sacred, favor preservation, binding, and ritual evolution. Gameplay, defensive buffs, crafting discounts. The Forgers, Guild of Metal, treat Biingusu as tools, specialize in production, fusion, and market manipulation. Gameplay, faster synthesis, temporary constructs. The Echoes, Circle of Spirit, see Biingusu as mirrors of self, focus on identity, copying, and hybridization. Gameplay, card duplication, identity-based synergies. The Shadebound, Cabal of Shadow, exploit Biingusu for control, specialize in debuffs, theft, and auction sabotage. Gameplay, market stealth mechanics, conditional steals. Cultural touches. Rituals and festivals, seasonal events where rare Biingusu variants appear. Auctions tied to festivals create spikes in economy. Language and UI flavor, use in-world terms, bonding equals attunement, shards equals echoes, to reinforce immersion. Implementation notes, tie faction bonuses to gameplay modifiers and marketplace perks. Use lore events to introduce limited-run Biingusu that seed the economy and narrative. Gameplay loop, how Biingusu ties into deck building and tactics. Core loop, acquire, bond, evolve, trade, deploy. Each step yields utility and choices that feed both single-player and MMO systems. Acquisition. Sources, Lucky spawns, crafting, auction house, event rewards, PvE drops, PvP rewards. Player choice. Players decide between buying a ready Biingusu or investing time to craft, evolve one. Deck building integration. Biingusu as anchors. Each deck is anchored by up to 3 Biingusu. Anchors provide passive effects and unlock deck slots. Card Biingusu synergies. Cards have tags that interact with Biingusu elements and types, e.g., if your anchor is a flame Biingusu, this card gains +X. Dynamic decks. Biingusu can temporarily grant or remove cards from a deck. Muse grants low-cost cards, Echo adds copies. Slot economy. Higher-tier Biingusu unlock more advanced deck slots or allow multi-element cards. Turn-based tactics. Action economy. Biingusu grant action modifiers, extra move, reduced cost, reaction triggers. Field presence. Some Biingusu manifest as units on the grid. Golem occupies tile. Wisp floats and buffs adjacent allies. Synergy triggers. Elemental pairings on the field create environmental effects, e.g., flame plus earth equals scorched ground that damages enemies each turn. Evolving mid-battle. Temporary catalysts allow on-the-fly evolution for a turn, enabling clutch plays at a resource cost. Multiplayer and MMO layer. Guild roles. Guilds can assign Biingusu to shared projects, resource production, territory buffs. Auction-driven meta. Market prices influence meta decks. Scarcity of certain Biingusu shapes competitive play. Economy as gameplay. Players can specialize as crafters, traders, or tacticians. Each role has meaningful progression. Loop example, practical. 1. Acquire a rare echo from an event. 2. Bonded through repeated use in skirmishes, unlocks a copy ability. 3. Evolve it into Echo-Muse hybrid via fusion using shards bought on auction. 4. Deploy as deck anchor to enable a tempo deck that reduces card costs. 5. Trade a duplicate shard on the auction house to fund the next catalyst. Implementation notes. Design UI flows for anchor selection, fusion preview, and marketplace listing. Ensure combat engine reads Biingusu passive effects at deck load and turn start to avoid runtime complexity. Final implementation checklist. Practical, prioritized. Data model. Biingusu, ID, type, element, tier, base stats, abilities. Bonksp, essence_value, owner, tradable. Essence system. Shard items, essence_value conservation, split and merge functions. Marketplace. Listing, bidding, buy now, fees, provenance metadata. Evolution engine. Deterministic base outcomes plus ing trait role, catalysts as inputs. Deck integration, anchor slots, card tags, element synergy engine. UI, clear provenance, suggested price, bond progress, evolution preview. Economy sinks, transaction burn, event costs, maintenance fees. Events and lore hooks, Loki spawns, festival Biingusu, faction quests. This design unifies mechanics, narrative, and economy so every Biingusu is simultaneously a tactical tool, a collectible, and an economic asset. It's modular. You can add new types, elements, or evolution paths without breaking existing systems. It's utilitarian. Every mechanic produces measurable utility, combat power, crafting potential, market value, and creates meaningful player choices.